All right, let's dive into the Miramar real estate market. We're zeroing in on single-family homes, specifically that sweet spot between, say, $500,000 and $750,000. Think you might be interested in some properties in that range? Well, you just got our hands on some really interesting data, fresh from a recent market analysis, and trust me, this is going to give you an edge.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
all about going beyond just the numbers. We're going to dig into what those numbers actually mean. So whether you're thinking about buying or selling, you can make smart, informed decisions.
Okay, so let's jump right in. First up, we've got this chart. It compares the average days on market, ADOM for short, with the median list price. Now, here's where things get kind of interesting. We're seeing that in some cases, homes priced a bit higher are actually selling faster. Seems counterintuitive, right?
It does until you factor in pricing strategy. You see, sometimes a home priced a bit higher, it could actually be more strategically aligned with its true value, especially when you compare it to similar properties on the market. And this can really attract the right buyers quickly.
Ah, I see. So it's not just about the absolute price tag. It's how that price relates to all those other factors.
Mm,
The home's features, the location, the overall desirability.
exactly. Picture this. Two homes, pretty similar. One's priced a bit higher, but it's got that updated kitchen everyone wants, and it's in that prime location. That home, it's likely to get snatched up fast, even with the higher price.
So maybe don't shy away right away just because the initial price seems a tad high. You got to dig a little deeper.
Exactly. Now, the other side of that coin, you've got those overpriced homes. They tend to just sit there on the market. They become that avocado that's way past ripe. Buyers get hesitant, and sellers might end up having to drop the price just to get a sale.
Yeah, no one wants that. Okay, let's move on to chart number 2. This one tracks inventory, shows us the historic count of active listings over time. Let me tell you, this chart looks like a roller coaster. What really stands out is how much that inventory fluctuates. And this is where things get really relevant for you, our listeners.
You're absolutely right. If you're thinking about buying, understanding these ups and downs, well, it can be a game changer. Knowing when there are typically more homes available, that gives you more choices, more options to compare, and maybe even a little more wiggle room to negotiate.
So timing is everything, especially for buyers.
You got it. Now, for sellers, strategically timing your listing to line up with those periods of higher demand, that can make a huge difference in how quickly your home sells, and of course the price you can get for it. You want to hit that sweet spot, enough buyers to generate some buzz, but not so much competition that your listing gets lost.
Right, makes sense. And looking at the data for Miramar, there's a pretty clear seasonal pattern here. Fewer homes on the market during those colder winter months. Then things start heating up come spring and summer.
It's like clockwork, the seasonality of real estate.
Okay, moving on to chart number 3. This one shows historic sales by year, going all the way back to 2018 and up to 2023. Big jump in sales from 2018 to 2021, then a dip in 2022. What's fueling this roller coaster ride?
This is where we see how local markets are tied to those bigger national trends. Remember those super low interest rates back in 2020 and 2021? They fueled a housing boom across the country. And Miramar, like a lot of other markets, rode that wave. Then rates started climbing in 2022, and things cooled down a bit, as you'd expect.
Makes sense. Even local real estate, it's all part of that larger economic picture.
Absolutely. Now, despite those ups and downs, the Miramar market, it's shown some real resilience. Bounced back nicely in 2023, shows you how strong and desirable it is as a place to live.
That's great news for anyone thinking about buying or selling in Miramar. Okay, let's move on to chart number 4. This one compares the original list price to the final sold price for homes in our target range. What jumps out at you here?
What I find interesting, on average, homes are selling for a little bit less than their original asking price. Now, that might seem a bit concerning at first glance, but it's important to remember, buyers today, they're incredibly informed. They've got access to tons of data, comparable property prices, market trends, the whole 9 yards, and they're ready to negotiate.
So for sellers, setting realistic expectations from the get-go, that's key.
Absolutely. Trying to overprice your home in this market, well, it's usually a recipe for disappointment. It's much more effective to work with an agent who really knows their stuff, someone who understands the ins and outs of pricing strategy, someone who's got a pulse on those local market conditions and buyer expectations.
Someone who can guide you through all the twists and turns and help you make smart decisions that align with your goals.
Exactly.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive into how all of this data translates into actionable insights for you, our listeners, especially when it comes to working with a real estate expert, someone like Antonio Ortega.
All right, welcome back. We just dug into some of those key market trends in Miramar. Now let's connect the dots. What does all this data actually mean for you, whether you're buying or selling?
Right, we've seen the charts, we've talked about those trends, but now let's get practical.
Okay, so for all you buyers out there, one of the biggest takeaways, be open-minded about price. Don't just automatically rule out those homes at the higher end of your budget. If they're priced strategically, they might actually offer incredible value.
Especially when you consider those desirable features, that prime location we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Those things can make a higher-priced home a much smarter buy than a home that seems cheaper but might be missing those key things.
And don't forget the power of timing.
Absolutely. If you're looking for more negotiating power and a wider selection of homes to choose from, think about house hunting during those winter months, when inventory is typically lower.
Okay, so buyers, keep an eye on those inventory trends. What about sellers? What are some key things they should keep in mind?
Accurate pricing right from the start, that's crucial. Don't fall into that trap of overpricing your home. In today's market, buyers are smart. They can spot an overpriced listing a mile away.
So working with a knowledgeable agent, someone who can really guide your pricing strategy, that's essential.
You got it. An experienced agent, they'll take everything into account. Recent comparable sales, current market conditions, even buyer sentiment. All to come up with a price that attracts buyers and helps you reach your goals as a seller.
It's all about finding that sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Where you're maximizing your return, but still making your home competitive.
Exactly. And just like buyers can use timing to their advantage, so can sellers. Spring and summer tend to be those busier seasons in real estate.
But that also means potentially more competition.
Right. So you've got to weigh those factors
Right.
and decide what makes the most sense for you, your individual circumstances, and your goals.
And that's where having a trusted real estate expert in your corner that becomes so valuable.
Couldn't agree more. Someone who understands the market inside and out, can see those trends coming, and can guide you every step of the way. Someone like Antonio Ortega.
Oh, speaking of Antonia, he's known for his incredible knowledge of the Miramar market and his dedication to helping his clients. Whether they're buying or selling, he truly goes above and beyond to help them reach their real estate goals.
And right now, he's got an amazing opportunity. For both buyers and sellers, he's actually contributing 10% of his professional fee towards your closing costs.
That's right. Imagine the savings. This is an incredible chance to work with one of the top agents in Miramar and get a significant financial boost in the process.
So if you're serious about making a move in Miramar, don't miss out on this chance to work with Antonio Ortega.
Head over to AntonioOrtegaLLC.com to learn more. You can find out all the details about that closing cost offer, explore his insights on the market, and even schedule a consultation to chat about your specific needs and goals.
We'll be back in just a sec to wrap things up.
And we're back. You know, going through all this data about the Miramar market has been really eye-opening. But data's only useful if you know what to do with it right.
You hit the nail on the head. That's where experience and real expertise come into play.
So if there's one big takeaway from our deep dive today, what would it be?
Knowledge is power, especially in real estate, whether you're on the buying side or the selling side. Understanding those market trends, it gives you a huge advantage. It's like having a roadmap to navigate all the ins and outs of buying or selling a home.
And in a market like Miramar, which is always changing, having that roadmap can make all the difference.
Exactly. It lets you anticipate those shifts in the market, make informed decisions, and ultimately achieve your real estate goals, whether that's finding that perfect dream home or getting the best possible price for your property.
And speaking of finding the best resources, when it comes to the Miramar market, I can't think of a better guide than Antonio Ortega. His track record is incredible.
He's got this deep understanding of the local market. He's totally committed to his clients, and he's a master negotiator. Plus, don't forget about that amazing offer he has right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Antonio's actually contributing 10% of his fee towards your closing costs. That's huge, especially these days.
So whether you're just starting to think about the Miramar market or you're ready to jump in, head over to AntonioOrtegaLLC.com.
You can learn all about that closing cost offer, see his insights on the market, and even set up a consultation to talk about your specific needs and goals.
Because at the end of the day, real estate, it's about more than just numbers and charts. It's about people, their dreams, and finding that perfect place to call home.
And Antonio Ortega is dedicated to helping you do just that. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the Miramar real estate market. We'll see you next time.